G'day folks, I'm the Coffee Bush Kid. In this instalment of What Have I Found in the UK, I've been out with my mate Arta, and he took us to a couple of his permissions heavily infested with Roman and medieval. So, let's have a look what we found. Okay, the first things I'm going to show you from my friend Arta's permission are these. Now, you would normally look at those and go, oh yeah, they're furniture studs. But, in fact, they're not. See how they've both been clenched over at the ends there, these little bits here? These are actually studs off the likes of I think they're called a leather jerkin, or it's a leather piece of armour that had all these studs on them in all different patterns and that to stop swords from cutting the garment to pieces. So it's pretty much part of a very cheap poor man's armour. So the poor peasanty type people that used to fight the normal run-of-the-mill soldiers, they couldn't afford suits of armour or anything like that, so they had these studdy bits on their leather outerwear, if you like, to try and stop swords from cutting them to pieces. And that's what they are. So there's a cool little find once you realise that these have been clenched over. So it's those. The next thing we're going to show you is this. That is a Tudor clothes fastener. So there would have been a rectangular piece off the end of this that would have been sewn onto the garment, and on this end would have been a hook, and that's how they, instead of the likes of buttons back then, that's how they used to close their garments up or hold some of the garments together with the thing much like that. And if you sort of close your eyes a bit, you could nearly guess that that was a Tudor rose. But yeah, cool little find nonetheless. That's that one. Now we start to go back in time, or back even further. These are Roman, Tony. They're Roman military mounts. So they're off soldiers' belt buckle, or belts I should say. Yeah, they're just a really, really interesting find. You can see again, this thing's got two little pins on the back end that were clenched over so that they held on to the leather. This one, it had a big singular one there. That was a thumper. But yeah, just two interesting finds on a field. It was pretty amazing to find those. Next thing is Roman again, and this is the end of a Roman trumpet fibula brooch. Now, we were playing up in Yorkshire, and apparently these trumpet fibula brooches are sort of endemic to the area. So they had a piece that came out here and it had a catch plate, and you had a pin that was actually under here. So you had a spring on this thing that sat each side of that, and you had the pin come back through. So as it is only a trumpety end, that's, we're still talking about somewhere around the, 2nd, 4th century AD. So that's a cracking find. Very happy when that one came out. And the last thing that I got to show you is this, and this is what I'm actually really, really impressed with. So we've got that. It's got a little spigot on the back there. We believe this is a tiny little, whether you say a votive statue or a protection amulet or whatever, of the god Mercury. Now, Mercury had a helmet with wings on it, and we've had a look at some statues of the time, and yeah, they look pretty much the same as this. So you can see there he's got his helmet going around his head with the two wings on it, and sort of stylized face, if you like. But that's pretty bloody amazing. So yeah, The Roman god Mercury, supposedly the messenger of the gods. There were other things that he would have been famous for doing, some sort of protection against wounds or something. Yeah, type of thing that a soldier would have. But yeah, Roman nonetheless. So they're the finds that we've had this week. Very, very, if I turn that over the right way, very cool. I hope you all find that all interesting. So there we go. Roman stuff, medieval. Medieval clothes fasteners, Roman bits and pieces and adornments. Bling if you like. Anyway, I'm the Coffee Bush Kid. You're watching What Have I Found? And you're all on the Miner's Den Show.